Excuse me.
Shit.
May God give you health, sir.
Is von Bergov's interrogations...
You came at the right time. Welcome to Sukdal, Lord von Bergov. Despite the circumstances that brought you here.
It is an honor, Peter. Compared to what I had to endure from Zizka and Kunstadt, your good manner...
I'll do my best to make your, involuntary stay no more inconvenient than it has to be.
Aren't you being a bit too welcoming, Sir Peter?
Just what I was thinking. Fuck that bollocks! He's a captive, not some busty wench. He's only alive to squeal what he knows. It'd be quicker if I just beat it out of him.
Hold your horses. He's a noble and Sigismund's right hand. If we torture him, he'll be no use to us as a hostage, and Sigismund will be out to avenge him.
That's true. Even though I'd be only too happy to settle scores with him. I gave him my word.
Why the fuck should I care about that?
When it comes down to it, the word of a nobleman is an oath before God. Even the devil must respect that.
Fuck this shit. The longer I listen to this bastards, the more my fists itch.
Instead of these pathetic threats, why do you not make me an offer? You do know that I am...
Shut your trap, Otto. Right now you're nothing. You lost most of your men at Rabos, and the rest croaked to meet at Malashov. So what do you have left? A nice coat? And a smug face?
Do you really think Sigismund made me his chamberlain because of my soldiers? Or to have someone to take care of the running of conquered fortresses?
Shut up, damn it! We're asking the questions.
Really? Then why have I not heard a single one yet? And what a shame that is. I am a pragmatic man, and I'm sure we can work something out. But lay a hand on me, and you will not hear a single word.
He's right. Apart from von Aulitz, he's Sigismund's closest man. He knows everything about him and his plans. We should try it the peaceful way first.
You're buying that? He talks just like Jobst. When he gets here, they can yap till doomsday for all I care. But now we just don't have the time.
Jobst wants to come back here. After he got away from us by the skin of his teeth?
Well, he has to show Sigismund our army up close.
So it's true. I couldn't believe the Margrave had finally made a move. I thought he would never march into battle.
See? Fortune is turning her back on you people. A pragmatic man like you ought to recognize an opportunity. If you help us, the Margrave will remember you for it. And will also let bygones be bygones.
You're getting ahead of yourself a bit, boy. The crown is still firmly on Sigismund's head, and the Jobst won't find it easy to wrest it of him. Although, I expect you people have no idea of the situation Sigismund is in right now.
Oh. What situation is he in, then?
In the shit, Lord Trotznov. In the shit. So, a sensible person should seize every opportunity that presents itself. And I am eminently sensible. Lord Capon.
Yes?
When you came to Trotsky, you were carrying a message with an offer of an alliance from Lords Hanush and Radzik, were you not?
Exactly.
I think it is time I gave you my answer.
Seriously?
Are you not glad? I thought that was what you were after the whole time.
I don't think Henry shares your sense of politics, sir.
You think I'm some villain, don't you? But I've only ever wanted what is best, believe me. What is best for this country, for my loyal supporters, and, naturally, for myself. And I'm not ashamed of that. And it appears that Sigismund is no longer what is best. He's in trouble, both here and in Hungary. The army is not getting paid, morale is poor, and the Kuttenberg miners are rebelling, so the crown is running out of silver.
I see. The butcher's on his way, so you want to flee the pigsty, eh?
Naturally. And together we can even set fire to this pigsty, as you put it. If you want my advice.
I'm all ears, sir.
The last straw Sigismund is grasping is the royal treasury at the Italian court. If he were to lose his silver, he wouldn't be able to pay his soldiers and would have to withdraw to Hungary.
We're supposed to rob the Italian court.
The most secure place in the town?
Of course! And while you're there, you can also free the lords captured at Raborz.
My father.
Lord Pisek, as the former mint master, you must surely know of some way to sneak in.
There is no way. The court's an impregnable fortress.
Really? What about tunneling in? There are hundreds of tunnels beneath the city, and if I'm not mistaken, one of them runs beneath the court.
That's total madness. There might be some passageway leading there, but no one knows those old tunnels now. Besides, they might collapse at any time. One could easily come to a bad end there.
But that can also happen when you try to mount a horse drunk. What's with this tunnel?
There's a whole labyrinth of tunnels under the city. You'd have to dig from inside the treasury to find the one you want. And where they all lead to, God alone knows.
God and me.
Oh, pardon me, milady, but how would you know?
Not all young noble women devote their days to embroidery, Sir Peter. I look after Father's documents, and I know all about the plans of the passageways beneath our palace. St. James's Church owes its existence in part to the generous donations of the Routards. So in the past we had a secret underground entrance built into its crypts, and St. James's is right next to the Italian court.
A handy escape route from the palace, eh? If you don't mind crawling through a tunnel, that is.
In short, you can theoretically walk directly from Routard Palace to the Italian court.
Sure. That is, after breaking through the walls that separate the crypt from the tunnel, and the tunnel from the cellars.
By Christ. It's worth a try.
That sounds almost too good to be true. And too easy. With a bit of luck, we'll get to the cellars of the court. What then?
What do you think? The guards will come down on you and it'll all be over.
So we need someone who can help us on the inside. Someone who'll distract the guards and lead us to the silver.
What about Ulrich Vavak? If we threaten him a little, he might help us.
Most importantly, he's got the Mintmaster's key. You'll need it to get to the silver. But I wouldn't advise you to rely on the help of that sycophant of Sigismund's.
Nor would I. Couldn't your brother help us instead, Lord Pisek?
Christian? He can be hard to deal with sometimes. He'd be taking a big risk, and besides, he doesn't have the Mintmaster's key to the treasury. I'm afraid Vavak's your only hope.
There is one other possibility.
Oh? What's that, Sir Otto?
Perhaps you have heard about the expected arrival here of a rare visitor from very far away.
Who? Do you mean... Surely not.
The very one.
What the fuck are you talking about? Speak clearly.
Well then, a papal legate is on his way to the town directly from Rome. He's coming to adjudicate the dispute about the new church.
What's that got to do with us?
Where would he be received except at the Italian court, along with his entourage? No one knows them, no one has ever seen them, and very few understand their language. They might as well be volunteering for you to take their place.
Well, bugger me. This is starting to sound fucking good.
What? What do you mean, take their place? Are we supposed to kill them, or what?
Why not?
Fuck. Jesus. Get a grip, fellas. Do you want to burn in hell?
Calm down. We'll just lock the Pope's lackey up for a bit, and once we've got the silver, we'll let him go again. No one gets hurt.
St. Joseph, cover thy ears.
Where will we find that legate?
He's staying in Loretz, at the vineyard. He's got the use of the whole place for himself and his escort. But I don't know how many there are.
Good. We'll send Catherine there to have a look.
And then we'll burst in there and cause a bit of a fuss, so he doesn't get any stupid ideas. And that'll be that.
Gentlemen, the legate is a man of the cloth, like me. I know Latin, and even a bit of Italian too, as it happens. I could explain to him what we need. Maybe we can persuade him to go along with it.
He'll tell us to kiss his arse, more likely.
Sir Hynek, never underestimate the power of sweet words. Especially when the listener has a knife at his throat.
It's true, none of us would be very convincing as an Italian cardinal. It'd be better if we made him take us with him, as his retinue.
What if the legate refuses to talk to us?
Well, we can always beat him up. Take his clothes and let someone else put them on. Like, Godwin, eh? Since he's a priest.
Hold on. I'm not going to play the jester for anyone.
Nobody's asking you to. We stick to the plan. We'll work on the legate so he agrees to take us in with him. Then we'll find a way somehow.
But what do we do with the legate's real retinue?
Lock them up at the Devil's Den. One of our men can guard...
A couple more peculiar fellas blabbering nonsense won't look out of place there in the slightest.
All right. Let's say we get inside with the legate.
That's why we mustn't let him out of our sight. Godwin will take care of that.
Me?
You said you spoke Italian, didn't you? If he starts squealing, you'll hold a dagger to his ribs and ask him politely to play...
May God look the other...
Meanwhile, the rest of us will have to deal with the guards inside, prepare the ground for digging, and open the treasury.
That's damned risky.
No one will be expecting us. As long as we don't make a ruckus too soon, it'll all be over. And the whole place will be ours before they even notice.
All right. I can't think of anything better anyway.
Agreed then. We'll try gentle persuasion to begin with. And now, to the task. Henry, you go to the town and squeeze anything that could help us out of Vavak.
Most importantly, get that key from him.
Then wait for us at Rotard Palace, where we'll set up our base. We'll get there first thing in the morning.
And how are you going to... The palace will be closed and maybe guarded. I don't expect you want to march through the main entrance, where everyone can see you. And bring...
That's true, milady. What do you suggest?
There's not only a passageway to the church, but also down to the river. I know it like the back of my hand. I could...
No offense, my lady, but...
She's coming with me. Nobody knows Ruthard Palace as well as Lady Rosa.
Do you want to get into the court? Then you need Ruthard Palace. You want Ruthard Palace? Then I'm coming along.
All right. Both of you are going to town. And no dawdling. You should be on the road tomorrow at the latest. Time is of the essence.
That's that then.
It looks like the two of us will be going to Kuttenberg alone.
I can hardly wait.
Aren't you looking forward to going home?
When they captured Pa, Van Bergov's people came to Ruthard Palace.
Did they do anything to you?
No, I wasn't harmed. But before they took me away, they ransacked the place. Then von Berghoff just took me to Malashov. It's likely Vavak took our home for himself. He's always threatened to...
You can try. When we free your father...
I hope so.
How do we even get inside Rithar Palace?
Like I said,
Well, I suppose by now I ought to know you don't have back doors here.
you are in mining country, you know. There's more going on here below ground than...
How will I find the entrance this time?
No, I'll guide you this time. It's just below the walls.
Are you ready to go?
There's no point in...
All right.
Well, here we are. I'm not keen on going into that darkness.
Are you afraid?
Of the dark? Me? I'm not a little girl. But God knows what we'll find inside. Especially at the far end.
I'll be with you. If anything happens, just stay behind me and...
Ah, my hero! But since I'm the one who knows the... Usually there's only a small trickle running through here. The water must have risen.
Be careful not to fall into the water. Those servants might think there's a water sprite crawling out of their cellar.
Most of them have known me since I was a little girl, and they're not easily frightened. Do you have any idea how many times they had to wash, dress, and groom me to make me presentable to my father? I mean, when I was little, of course. Startled me. Anyway, what's Lord Capon's problem with underground passageways? When I mentioned it at Sukdol, he looked like he was about to faint.
When we were defending the Barkov, we got buried under the rubble from a demolished tower.
Oh my god!
I was lucky to survive it. I still remember him calling for help. He was scared to death. There was nothing we could do. That's when he was captured by von Berghoff. Since then, he's not comfortable with tight spaces.
Sorry. I was a silly goose to bring it up. This is going to be a bit difficult.
Everything all right?
No. Don't you see how deep it is ahead of us?
Well, so what? It's hardly more than knee deep.
That may be so, but a courteous man should offer to help a lady.
Well, what's to be done? I'll carry you over.
Don't worry, though. I'm not some fragile petal. I'm waiting. This is not how one carries a lady, you barbarian.
Maybe not in Kuttenberg, but it's how we did it in Skalitz.
But it's not very comfortable.
Ah, just grin and bear it, my lady. We're almost there.
Oof, I don't think you'd be welcome at a royal court. But I am dry, so I thank you.
Oh, Sacre. I hear voices. Looks like we've got company. And not welcome company, I reckon.
Look at all this mess. I can hardly recognize this place.
This doesn't look like the work of Avak's people. More like city rabble and beggars.
They're acting like they own the place. If Pa were to see this, we must get rid of them.
What do you mean, get rid of them?
You killed most of von Bergov's garrison at Malashov, and now you want me to tell you what to do?
My. How quickly Lady Rosa can... What's the difference between those ragamuffins upstairs and the villagers at Malashov, eh?
But this is our home.
You're right. We have to get rid of them. But maybe I'll go and see who they are and what to do about them. Right. Here we go.
Wait a moment. Do you see this ivy here? It goes all the way up to the window of my chamber. That's where I keep my crossbow. I bet that riffraff didn't find it. If I climb up there, I can cover you from above. Just in case.
If you say so. But if anything happens, hide. Got it?
All right. Now turn around so you can't see up my skirt.
Fuck that.
Right then. Here we go. I
God damn
hope
it.
Rosa can aim well.
Look, there's someone there.
You're trespassing. This place belongs to the House of Ruthard.
You're wrong, friend. The Rootards have finished in this town. We own the place now.
What are you gonna do about it, fucker?
Kiss your ass, good. Rosa? Did she... Rosa!
I've been waiting for
I'm
you.
gonna gut you, you whoreson! I'm just getting warmed up, you shit! No!
Are you alright?
I am. For now. Are you all right, Henry? I think I hit one too.
You're a good shot. Capon and Kabianka wouldn't believe their eyes.
Thanks.
Is something wrong?
Someone's trying to break through the door.
Oh, damn it. I'll be there in a moment.
Be careful.
Load your crossbow, and if they get inside before I get there, shoot them.
I barricaded the door. I'm sure I can hold out for a while.
What a mess.
Show your stuff.
Let me come in!
What's that sound?
Rosa? It's me.
Henry, are you all right?
I'm in one piece.
Are they gone? All of them?
Aye. It's over.
All right. I'll let you in. You can come in now.
So, here we are.
It doesn't feel much like home anymore. They were behaving like animals in here.
Don't worry about the mess. Our boys will happily clean up once they get here. We owe you that.
The mess is the last thing on my mind. There was my mother's silver, my brother's hunting trophies, and my books. It's all gone.
Right. We've got a lot of work to do. But we'll get there. You'll see. We have to. There's a lot at stake.
That's true. You know, Henry, I want to ask you something. And I want an honest answer, all right? If everything were to go wrong at the Italian court and, God forbid, you had to choose, would you still try to rescue my father, even if it meant putting stealing the silver in jeopardy?
The lives of allies are obviously the most valuable asset to us. Without their support, the silver would be useless anyway.
Not to mention, it wouldn't last you very long anyway.
Don't worry. We'll either leave the Italian court with the lords, or
not at all.
if our plan succeeds and your father is freed, do you know what will come next?
I try not to think about it.
Why? That's why you're helping us, isn't it?
If you get the king's silver, my father and I will have to hide. Leave the region, go somewhere out of Sigismund's men's reach, and you and I will have to part ways.
Maybe it won't be necessary. As soon as Jobst and his troops arrive, you'll be safe again.
Maybe. But your duties are elsewhere. Capon's estate is in Rotai. Besides, he'll be getting married, and you'll surely be accompanying him. Why should my father and I stay here anyway? What do we have left?
You'll be all right.
Romance.
My father would clap you in irons for that.
And for this?
It seems you know how a lady should be carried.
Where to, ma'am? I don't see any rivers, ditches, or puddles to cross.
Domi castitatem e continentiam, sed non lemoro. Forward, Sir Knight.
Hell yeah. What'd she stack? Six out? Damn! Boy, Henry's got some stamina.
Oh, Christ. Is it morning already? Ziska and the others will most likely be here by now. I should go and have a look. You know about yesterday evening?
What about it?
I thought maybe you want to talk about
Do you think there's anything to...
Well, what's next for us?
Nothing, most likely. I'm Lord Rutard's daughter. Our name still means a lot, despite all the trouble we're in. When my pa is free and an opportunity presents itself.
Has your father already picked a groom for you?
Not yet, but I know how it goes. If I'm lucky, I'll marry a young nobleman and soon bear him a bunch of children. And if I'm really lucky, they'll find me some old man who will drop dead before we even leave the church.
A husband, kids? Is that what you want?
Does it seem like I have a choice? I can't just go and become somebody's squire like you. As my father's sole heiress, I have 3 options.
Surely you're not serious about that, lad?
Of course not. But at least you can see, our plan may very well fail. And no one might survive. Why throw something nice away prematurely?
Well...
Wait, did it save? I want to see something. Oh, do I have to fight? I should have saved. Fuck. I think I have to fight. Fucking Christ.
Who let you in here, fucker?
Calm down. I just want to talk. I'm not looking to harm you.
Talk, eh? You don't want to harm us? Hark at him.
Let's get rid of him. What do you say, fellas?
Taste my steel!
Rosa? Could you... Rosa!
I'm all you...
Too slow!
Go fuck yourself!
Are you alright?
I am. For now. Are you all right, Henry?
You're a good... It's...
Someone...
Damn it!
Be careful.
Load your...
I better...
What a mess.
Show your stuff! Little pigs! Let me put that...
Rosa? It's me.
Henry, are you all right?
I'm in one piece.
Are they... gone? All of them?
Aye. It's over.
All right. I'll let you in. You can come in now.
So,
It doesn't...
right. We've got a lot of work.
That's true. You know, Henry, if ever... Would you...
The lives...
Not to...
Don't worry.
Or not...
No, don't worry.
The mess is all gone.
If our plans to...
I try not to...
Why?
If you... And...
Maybe it won't be necessary.
Why should...
You'll be all right.
My father would clap you in irons for that.
And for this.
Oh, it seems you know how a lady should be carried.
Where to, ma'am? I don't see any rivers, ditches, or puddles to cross.
Domi castitatem e continentiam, sed non le moro. Forward, Sir Knight.
All right.
Oh, Christ. Is it morning? Already? Zizka and the others will most likely be here by now. I should go and have a look.
Post-coitus.
You know about...
What about?
I thought...
Do you think?
Well,
Nothing. I'm Lord when my pa...
and And what if your pa found out
What exactly would he...
that his daughter is no longer...
Someone would have to tell him. It's a...
Quite.
Oh, shit. That made me lose. Squeedy's cat.
You know...
What do you think?
Well,
Nothing. I'm Lord when my pa...
as you've...
Not yet. If I'm lucky and if...
I'll marry you then.
What?
If we can free your father, I could ask him for your hand in marriage. Even under threat that he'll go back under lock and key if he refuses.
I don't think he'd allow it either way. Lord Roothard's daughter, and the bastard son of the Lord of Skalitz, who was driven out of his estate by Sigismund himself. That's not going to happen. Although, our plan may very well fail, and no one might survive. Why throw something nice away prematurely? You know, carpe diem et memento mori.
Well, if that's how you feel.
Damn, there's no good outcome of that chat. Don't like it. Whoa. Sorry, you're hot, but already took everything.
Why did they want to hang you?
I reckon my face bothered them. More likely they're pissed off I'm not a hypocritical fucker like they are.
And that's a reason for execution?
Unlike the hypocrites in the League of Lords, I'm not ashamed of what I am.
I know they call you Dry Devil.
Aye, they call me a lot of things, laddie. And that's what rankles the lords, that I'm getting rich at their expense. And that's some fucking fat loot they stole from the king.
So you're on the king's side?
I'm on the side of whoever pays me, lad. And I'll tell you one thing. I've never gone back on my word. My noble word is my oath. Unlike that of bastards like von Bergau or von Rosenborg.
Have you been at war?
Aye, I fought in Moravia, and I'm still the hetman of the royal city of Znaim. You're just a yokel, so you hardly know what's been going on in the kingdom these last few years.
You're an experienced warrior, so teach me something.
Not now.
Greetings, Henry. Did you have a good sleep?
Aye. How about you?
Absolutely wonderful.
This is my bed. Interesting. Interesting.
Gentlemen.
What do you make of this Brabant?
He's unquestionably a He rambles on a lot, though. My head nearly burst listening to him sometimes. Although it was better than being stuck there alone. Otherwise, he seems to me like a bold and worldly gentleman, if a little obsessed.
I honestly can't stand. He's as full of tales as an old fishwife, and half of them sound very.
No one's perfect. As for his constant chatter, you have to learn how to and ideally not get locked up. On the other hand, when Sigismund invaded, he could have easily just stepped aside and kept his nose out of it, and he'd still be sitting pretty in Miskovitz. Instead, he did the opposite and defended the town. Give him a chance to prove himself. You'll see for yourself.
I'll believe it when I see it. What happened when von Bergov hauled you off after the Nabokov battle?
It was a dreadful journey. Jesus, don't even remind me. It was a bit better in Malashov. Apart from being locked up, of course.
Did anything happen or not?
No, but it took ages to get to Malashov. 4 or 5 days in that god-awful cart. I was traveling with von Owlet's minions. They hauled me in one of the wagons. They treated my wounds a bit, but I was still in a really bad way. After that battle and all.
What did they do with you in Malashov?
Nothing much, actually. They took care of my wounds, and then stuck me in a room with Brabant. But they treated me decently, as befits a noble. Von Bergov came asking questions a couple of times, but that was about it. Only I almost went mad from being cramped in that damned room. It's a good thing you got me out of there.
What was the problem with the room?
That I couldn't get out of there. You saw yourself when you came for me, didn't you? It's just that since Nabokov, when they shot the tower right down on my head and I was stuck there. Well, since then, I don't feel well in cramped spaces. Actually, I never did. I always preferred to be outdoors. But since Nabokov, it's worse than ever. I had a feeling the roof would fall on my head again and I'd be buried alive.
They didn't let you out at all? But you were in that room for ages.
No. They let us walk around the fortress a bit. We even went out for a ride twice, but they watched us like hawks. Not a chance of escape. But most of the time we were in that room. Like I say, I'm really glad you got me out of that hole.
What did von Burgov want from you?
Just the usual courtesies. The captivity of nobles has to observe certain formalities, you know? It's not like they could just throw you in some hole. They behaved fairly respectfully, but of course he was fishing for information. About Radzig and Hanush and especially Jobst. What they're planning, how many men they have on the field, who else they're negotiating with and that.
And what did you tell him?
Nothing that he didn't already know. I played as dumb as the village idiot. I only told him they sent us with that message and discussed the rest when we were gone.
And did he swallow it?
I think he suspected I was bluffing a bit, and then he tried to loosen my tongue by letting me go hungry for a while. But he soon gave up when he saw he was getting nothing more from me.
My word. Nice work keeping him at bay. I understand. It's a bit awkward for you that the nobility lives in castles.
That's a fact. Once I get my hands on my estates, I'll build a new castle that only has huge rooms and lots of spacious courtyards. And above all, no secret passages.
Great. I'm really looking forward to this new castle of yours.
You can be the castellan or something. Don't worry, I won't forget you. I'll even have a forge built so you feel right at home.
But the main thing is, you're alive and kicking. And back with us.
Indeed.
Samuel.
Morning, Kamoshko.
Good morning, Janos. Sleep well?
I
You told me to come back.
No worry, eh? Come back when they...
Sir Vaculin, you've had an exciting...
Bien sûr. Your interest is gratifying and quite understandable.
Where does the name Brabant come from?
That is simple. My compatriots call me that because I am originally from Brabant province. And the name stuck. One day, I shall tell you about my place of birth, but I am sure you will long to hear about the conquest of Arezzo, yes? Or would you rather hear how I saved the King of France from certain death?
Arezzo sounds interesting.
And so it was. That is where I earned my knighthood from the great Enguerrand de Concy himself, the commander of our Naples campaign. Enguerrand arranged his forces for battle, and I was put in charge of one of the cavalry units. Out of nowhere, the enemy appeared on our unprotected flank, and Enguerrand set me to hold them back so our main force could regroup. But I saw a gap in the enemy's main phalanx. I sounded the charge and sped forwards.
Wasn't that rather risky?
Un chevalier français fears nothing.
I reckon King Sigismund would think otherwise after Constantinople.
That was completely different. Alors, I caught them by surprise. I hacked my way to their standard and broke through all the way to the enemy's reserves. My attack sowed confusions in the enemy's ranks that encouraged the overlords who raced to join me, scattering everything in their path. And that is how we won the famous victory at Arezzo. Seeing that the force that was supposed to protect them had been routed. The city then surrendered to us. No doubt you had no inkling at Maleshov what a knight you had the honor to meet. And of course my feats on the field of battle do not end there.
A bold maneuver.
Quite right. Courage is my middle name. Just as Monsieur Chapon says, Audantes Fortuna Juva. That day I was the bravest of them all and won the day.
So you disobeyed your commander and left your flank exposed. Your attack could have ended in a total fiasco. You were lucky the others came to your assistance and your entire force didn't collapse.
I hear envy speaking, but you are still wet behind the ears. So, I can forgive you. In short, I saw an opportunity and took it. Moments like that can decide entire wars.
What did your commander have to say?
He made me a knight and sent me to the royal court to inform the sovereign of our triumph.
I reckon he wanted to get you out of his hair.
Do not talk nonsense.
How did you save the King of France?
With Providence as my guide, mon ami. I came to the court from the field of battle to bring news of our victory, because, and remember this, the bearer of good news is always rewarded and cherished. But the king was in a bad mood and did not wish to be disturbed. Maybe I thought the news of our victory will dispel his ill humor.
How could you tell him if he didn't want to be disturbed?
Ha! I climbed up to his balcony and into his chambers to surprise him with the joyful tidings. And lo and behold, the king was writhing and gasping on the floor, overcome by one of his fits. Wasting not a moment, I dashed over to him and unblocked his throat, thus saving his life. In return, the king bestowed on me the title of Échanson, or cupbearer, and other generous gifts. And I then spent a while in his service at court. Unfortunately, though, even the king's favor does not last forever, and minor mistakes can come to overshadow good deeds.
What happened at court that led to you being out of favor?
Well, perhaps I shall tell you some other time. Would you not
Tell me what happened at court that caused you to lose favor.
Ah, a major setback and a gross injustice, mon ami. It is an unhappy memory, because it was the first time that La Dame Chance abandoned me.
It's nothing to be ashamed of. We can all learn from our failures. And I bet even your failures make for great stories.
Oui, that is certainly true. Very well, then. I suffered a combination of misfortunes all at once. But bad luck in business and on a hunt were the worst of all.
Lockery and Cargouche. Sounds like a pair of jesters.
En aucun cas. Jacques le Gris and Jean de Carouge. These two great knights were in a legal dispute over an estate. But above all, when de Carouge was on a campaign, Le Gris fornicated with his wife. She claimed that he had raped her, while he said he had seduced him. And because everyone swore to their own truth on the Bible, the matter had to be settled by combat. First, they jousted. Then they fought on foot with sword and axe. Le Gris thought victory was in his grasp, but de Carouge suddenly pounced on him, wrested him to the ground, and beat him so terribly that he knocked off his helmet and cuirass. Even so, Le Gris refused to admit his guilt, and de Carouge drove a dagger through his neck. And if you promise not to tell, I will let you into a secret about that dagger.
Tell me the secret. I promise I'll keep it to myself.
Bien. As I say, de Carouge killed Le Gris with a dagger. And I found that dagger in the mud after the duel. A blessed blade, an instrument of divine justice. The dagger that ended the last trial by combat France ever witnessed. An item of great value. So, I had several copies made and sold them to rich French noblemen. That is how I first came into wealth. And I used the coin to buy the horse and armor I needed to set off in pursuit of glory in battle.
Ha! That was a good idea. I'd never have thought of that.
You still have a lot to learn, mon ami. But you're young, you have plenty of time. Just keep your mind and eyes open, like I did. It was one of the greatest things I ever saw, and I have seen a lot. Believe me, half of France came to watch, including the king himself, who then banned trial by combat in France forever. I later told the story to anyone who was interested. One of my listeners, a certain Froissart, wrote my icon down and became famous. I could have written it myself, of course, but I am happy to help others find success.
What other feats have you performed in battle?
Oh, many, mon ami. For one battle does not make a warrior. It would take a week to recount them all, so I will just tell you about my second greatest feat. On the Italian field, we faced John Hawkwood, a ruthless Englishman and a fearsome warrior. Surrounded, we were at his mercy. Night fell, and we knew he would attack at dawn, and that would be it. But just then, Providence put an idea in my mind.
Did you set some...
You can observed, I mounted my horse and set off to find help. And, La Dame Chance was exceedingly kind to me that day. As I rode away, by chance, I stepped it off of our horses. Thinking we were trying to break through, les Anglais went to head them off. But while the English were occupied with Myceli, our units managed to flee. I saved many men from certain death that night, and many lords from the disgrace of capture. Needless to say, I was generously rewarded for my valor.
I'm sorry.
That is indeed incredible. But you were just trying to flee, weren't you?
I wanted to bring reinforcements, but as I say, I merely follow Providence, and she guides my steps. From triumph to triumph. Well, stick close to me, Henri.
Thanks for sharing your... What do you think of our...
Well, I cannot say I expected to end up in this kind of company. I am more used to royal courts or at least wealthy burghers. But a man must accept...
What do you think of Zizka?
The Chevalier Jan? Well, he's not doing badly for a minor nobleman, but I think he will never be accepted among the higher nobles and knights. That takes a lot more. Mark my words. I am a good judge of people.
What do you think of Sir Hynek?
Ah, le diable sec. A capable chevalier, but I do not trust him. There is treachery in his eyes.
You think so?
My instinct rarely...